This I know. This I know.
So I'm going to start this video with a little bit of light language. This is Christine Clark, Higher Mind Inspired. Om Tutari, Tutari, Ture Soha. Om Tutari, Ture Soha. Om Tutari, Ture Soha. 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 I call in the Holy Spirit to guide and protect this transmission today for the highest good of myself and for all other beings listening to this video today. So I hope this isn't too weird for some of you. Some of you will know exactly what this is. This is a language that only the heart can understand. And it's just a state that I'd like to get myself into while I speak with you and share with you. I've been doing some videos about the universe and the all-inclusiveness of the universe and how it is always giving to us. It never takes away. So it's really important that we resonate with what it is we are wanting to become as it. And as it, having the desire for something is a very good indication that we are that, or we never would have been able to have the experience of the desiring it in the first place. This comes from a higher-minded concept. I'm a really big fan of many, many different people that are on YouTube, and I get a lot of my inspiration from these people. So often you'll hear me mention their names and from what platform that I receive the inspiration. And a lot of my inspiration comes from my hypnosis clients as a hypnotist, or my spiritual mentoring clients, and my own self, my own life experiences. I've had many life experiences. I was an entertainer when I was younger, and I had to negotiate for my life twice with the Hells Angels in BC, Canada, BC. And I was in my 20s when that had occurred twice in the same year. And without getting into the details, I really was having to negotiate for my life. And in one of those times, I was very, very aware that that was the case. And in the other time, I was unaware. And it was only in retrospect that I realized that that was what that was. And that was actually probably the heavier, more dangerous scenario where I was about to be raped by multiple people. And I just went into this comedy act, and I was so bloody funny that it just, it prolonged the attack from happening, and then an intervention was able to come in. And I now know what that was. That was an aspect of me that came in to help in that moment. And the other time, which I was much, much more aware of at the time, and it actually happened first. You would think that the second time it happened, I would really know. But I thought there's no way that I could be having my life threatened again. That this kind of thing would only happen to me once. But it was the second time in the same month, and I guess I just would not allow myself to believe that this is what was happening. But the first time, I actually, something overcame. And it's just like what you would see in a movie, where I would look at this biker straight in his eyes and tell him that I am him. And that there's no pain that he could cause me that I haven't already caused myself. And this is very true, but I never have articulated or expressed myself in this way. This really was a higher part of me that knew what to say in that moment. And in the background, my ego was like, what am I saying? And it was really some really weird sci-fi stuff that was coming through. And this presence overtook me and was very fearless and was ready to take whatever this person was willing to do to it. And I was in the background, another lower consciousness, watching all this going, WTF. I'll never forget this experience. This is one of the first esoteric experiences I've ever had after leaving home. Living at home, I'd had many. I'd left home by the time I was 15, 16. 15 the first time. And all of this is just to show you that we can be having esoteric experiences without even being aware of it. Something tipped me off much later on in years what that was. After, watching movies and stuff like that, I found myself in some of these movies as these non-embodied entity beings, just ready to fight the fight, and come on, bring it, because there's nothing you could do that hasn't already been done to me, kind of thing. And I always thought I would write a story about that, but it was so real, it's very personal and very real, that I haven't quite been able to write a story. But I'm sure I'll find a way to blog that on my website. Taurus9.net is the website. And I've been uploading some blogs there about some of my life stories, which are quite interesting. Very esoteric, seemingly so, without looking for it. Always being a seeker, and now being a finder. So I'll share more about that with you, about what it means to be a finder and what it means to be a seeker, and what the difference is between the both. I've been seeking so long before I even knew that that's what I was doing. And I've always been finding, but not aware of it in the moment. And now more moving into finding as a being who's having a human experience, as a finder, as a result of seeking. This is when it's more useful. This is when tools are coming in and applications are coming in, and it's applicable. This is applicable information, and embodying and integrating and making it applicable. So yeah, I had to negotiate for my life twice in 1 month back in my early 20s. I was a dancer, and I traveled around Alberta and BC, Canada. Being from Alberta, I was a young woman before I had children. Just before I'd had children, I was a Class A dancer, traveling from one place to the next. It was a very interesting experience. I thought I was a movie star. But I have a lot of things to share about that 2-year period. a lot of shadow experiences, a lot of enlightened, beautiful beings that I met along the way. What it was like to be me with my nature at that time. And even though those were very dark and yet very enlightened years at the same time, I was more closer to my natural nature being younger than I was after that for about 20, 25 years. It was after that for over 2 decades that I was the furthest away from who I really was. And I find that profound because in that 2-year span, there was some really hairy things going on. And it didn't have to do necessarily with other people. It also had to do with viruses that I had caught, and just all kinds of things going on, which is part of the drama since birth as well, coming in with pneumonia, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll talk about that 2-year period where there's the shadow and the light playing itself out within my life.